call 219 here, and just got out of a dove field. Unfortunately, I'll throw a picture up here. I shot my decoy, but I did get the dove. I only got one this time out. Very slow for dove this year. We're not here to talk about birds. We're here to talk about deer. Deer season is upon us, folks, and it is ripping and roaring. I think there's another day or two before reduction zone starts here in my area. It's already started down in southern states. People are shooting bucks, does, whatever, and they're having a great time doing it. My chance won't come until October 1st, so I'll have to just wait on that. But went to the spot. If you've watched my previous video of the food plot is gone. And as we get into these pictures, when I did the camera pull, on one camera I had over 500 pictures. So it took me 3 days to get through all those pictures without getting tired and falling asleep with the viewer in my hand. But nothing spectacular, unfortunately. Nothing spectacular. I did throw that block out there, and that's what that camera was on, and every critter in the forest was on this block, just eating it time after time. It took the deer, all the deer that I've seen. I didn't think there was that many deer in that area, but boy, there was. It took them about 72 hours, 48 hours, maybe a little less than 72 hours to eat that entire block. It was a 30-pound block. That's how many deer I had on that camera. So as I'm rolling pictures in here, I did have another buck, 2 bucks, I should say, show up on camera. Now there's another little 6-point that has showed up with the other 6-point that I've seen before out in that field. Whether they're going to get along, I don't know. They came pretty much head to head the other night, so I think testosterone's building. The little Forky has found himself a girlfriend. He's moonlighting. He's Romeo and Julieting at nighttime in my food plot with this broad. So I don't know what's going to come about that. I like to keep my doe ratio a tad bit lower than most people like, because I want these bucks to compete. I've seen it before in the past when I've hunted in that area. If you have too many does, then you're not going to see a ton of bucks. You're just not. They don't really, when you get further pre-rut to the rut, then they start showing up. But at this point, they're not going to be hanging out with all these other deer. They're in bachelor groups. They're hanging out together. You know what I'm saying? They're checking on does, but they're not. They may be breeding some. I don't know. Maybe these moonlighting juveniles are doing it. I don't know. But it's a very, very thin crowd for bucks in this spot, and I've seen this before in past years. And as soon as the rut starts kicking off, pre-rut, then you start seeing some big deer, some decent deer coming through, and you just gotta wait on them. Right now, I have not seen anything. Like last year, we saw Big Ben, then I saw him again further down the road in November, but I'd already shot the bean field buck, so I burnt my buck tag. But it's good to see that deer. Haven't seen him this year, so I don't know if he was taken by another hunter, predation, or EHD. EHD is really bad in my area. People are already now up to the numbers of 300 plus deer that have died from EHD at this point on the other side of the county. So hopefully that stuff will die out, but that could be part of the problem. Bucks wander. They just don't always stay in the main area during the rut. They'll go off. If they tend a bunch of does, they'll go off and find as many does as they want, make a little core area there until they breed them. So that was my whole purpose of shooting some does, man, is make these bucks kind of compete. I don't want them to have 5, 10 apiece, man. Then you'll never see these guys. They'll always be in lockdown, and then you'll just, hope that they show up one day wherever they're following these does. So I kind of keep that ratio pretty level for the most part. Again, I'm rolling pictures in here, hopefully, just nothing spectacular. Again, there's 2 new bucks. One we'll call him gangly, because his antlers are very gangly. Looks healthy. I've got him on daylight pictures, but these deer are far from being hard. I mean, unless you want to shoot a small buck, I'm not in the process of that. You know, I want these deer to grow up. I want them to, you know, get to a good potential that they possibly can get to. But other than that, man, a lot of nanny does. A lot of these yearlings are coming back and they're sitting in the food plot for an hour. And that's just devastating for the small plots I'm doing. If you haven't seen my videos, please go watch them and you'll see what I'm working with. I'm working with a half an acre, if that. You know, maybe an acre now that I can hunt the park property next to me in the back there. But not much area to go through. Some of it may be a little bit of a bedding spot. Looking at the camera footage and seeing the times that these deer are coming, they're bedding somewhere in the area. Whether it's on the properties, you know, a little bit further to the right of the tree stand, but not very far, because these deer have come back. In that 72-hour period where I watched them mow this block, man, the same deer were coming back day after day. The new deer, we'll call him Gangly. I think that's what we'll name him, Gangly. He figured out about the resident raccoons there, as I'll show you this picture of him rearing up on two legs, fighting off raccoons. So he's figured out that the raccoons don't like him. So he's gonna have a fight on his hands. Not only some of these little bit older bucks there, but the raccoons. The raccoons are not nice in this area. They will get aggressive on you. So be careful out there in the woods. That's why I carry a 22 with a silencer on there. So, you know, just don't scare them off. And I'll pick them off as I go in there in the mornings and they return to their trees. I can get rid of them because they're devastating for turkeys and you know, birds and things of that nature. But, you know, it's just one of those times. I've seen this before in this area, where, you know, nothing really spectacular shows up, and then, you know, September 25th, it's like, boom, oh my God, here's a buck. You know, here's a shooter buck. Oh, there's another shooter buck. You know, they start trickling in there because there is a good presence of does in that area. So again, you know, some of these smaller bucks, like Romeo and Juliet is what we're gonna call them, and the Gangly guy, they're gonna get pushed out of the spot. No, even if the 8-pointers, 9-pointers come in there that I've seen travel through that area in past years, if they're still around and nothing's happened to them, they're gonna come back, man. And you know, I've seen them fight out there in that field, right on the backside of that field in front of me. And get kind of aggressive. I mean, the testosterone is building at this point. Again, I'll show you another picture. Those two 6-pointers were head to head there, and they pushed each other around. You can tell on the camera because the deer kind of look like ghosts, but they're you know, they're pushing each other. They're not fighting, but they're pushing each other. So it is what it is at this point. But boy, somebody like this or the big guy comes around, they're gonna you know, tuck tail and go. So it's just a matter of time. I'm hoping. But again, like I said, disease is really rampant on the other side of the county, and it's kind of spreading a little bit closer and closer. I'm just hoping the cold weather, especially at night, starts to kill off some of these insects that are causing EHD in my area. It's very detrimental, man, to older deer because, you know, the immune system's dropped and, you know, they get sick and they're not going to last very long. I've referenced this in videos before where that guy was watching that deer for 3 years, a little bit of a drop tine on him, and he was crumpled up underneath a tree on a riverbank dead from EHD. Very devastating. You know, just like me, I've been watching the big guy for 5 years now, have a couple interactions with him, and I haven't quite seen him yet. You know, not lurking in the shadows, or as I drive by there at times, seeing him out there way back in the cut. None of that. So again, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna shake out this year. I have to wait until October, November. Hopefully not all the way till December, where I've gone at some points deep into December without almost tagging out. You know, I don't quite want to go that deep this year. I like to tag out in the middle of November like I did last year and be done with it. and have the stories for you, and especially hopefully some shots on camera coming up. So not much to report here. I'll throw in some more, couple of other pictures of some deer. But you know, it's good to see them not forgetting about my spot, but it's just not drawing in some of the deer that I know are in that area that I've seen before. But again, with everything going on, you know, and plus you have predation on top of it, you never know what's going to come through the spot. It's almost unpredictable. And if it's going to be predictable, it's going to be deer that I just don't want to shoot. You know, I might have to shoot 3 does this year and no bucks. Because right now I'm not shooting any of those bucks out of that spot. And if I can give them some kind of refuge there for the time being until hunting season is over, that would be even plus. Because I'd like to see what these deer look like in a year or two, especially on the off season when, you know, every year after hunting season, I'll go out there, especially for the winter or after I've tagged out, and I'll throw some great mineral blocks in there to keep them going and keeping them strong so they don't die in the winter, and they make it through the next spring, and then see what they look like coming up next year. But that's all I got for you right now. Nothing phenomenal. Just hoping and waiting, you know, as we get closer and closer to October, you know, we start seeing some different deer come in here that are shooters. Again, I might take a doe or two out of this spot just to kind of sure up the ratio between the two animals, but other than that, nothing great. I'd like to thank my old and my new subscribers and just the people that zip through. I greatly do appreciate it. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Do that for me. Really helps out with the channel. As you can see, the numbers are rising. Please mingle amongst yourselves in the community tab. It's very beneficial. I pay attention to it quite often, and that's a good way to grab my attention, because sometimes YouTube will suppress comments and I won't see them, and then you'll think I'm a jerk, but I'm really not. It's just YouTube's the jerk. Like always, guys, we'll catch you on the next one.